NFL Draft.
Well, it used to be almost that bad. It used to be, about 15 or 16 rounds to the draft?
Now they go, oh, this hat doesn't fit real well. I hope you have a larger one. Because you know how important a hat is to me, since I'm not going to wear it straight.
Right.
I got to wear it cocked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With a flat bill.
Yeah. Well, now stations try to differentiate themselves a lot. I guess we're included in that. Well, take a listen.
Other stations in this town may say they have the best traffic or the best news, but only one can boast the most accurate and up-to-date time of any of them. Us. Introducing AccuTime. The most comprehensive and laser-focused time available. Here's our program director to tell you about it.
We looked at AccuWeather, but hey, meteorologists are wrong about half the time. We may not be able to predict if your picnic will happen because of rain, but we'll make for darn sure you're there on time.
Don't believe AccuTime is important? Just listen to what some of our listeners have to say.
The other day I was listening to another station, and they were saying it was like 8:06. I turned back here and saw it was actually 8:05. Those guys are like so stupid.
Time is money in my business. I actually sell clocks. It's nice to know when I set them, my time is right.
AccuTime. We have too much time on our hands, so you don't have to.
There you go. Your AccuTime station. All right, this 3 seconds brought to you by.
This 3 seconds brought to you by a cat puking a hairball.
There you go.
Yeah, lovely. Mm-hmm.
And this is. You ever had a cat? You know that sound?
No, never had a cat.
Yeah,
never will have a cat.
Oh, they're good animals. I had one. I wouldn't have traded her for the world. But she taught me I never want another one.
Well, if you're on a farm or something, it's, a requirement for the barn, et cetera, but not in a house.
Yeah, they'll bring you the cat will bring mice to your house for your food.
Along with birds and snakes and chipmunks and God knows what else.
And then they set the mice down and it's still alive. And they're sitting there grabbing it with their claws and dragging it back.
Playing with it, yep.
Well, today is also Monday, and that means it's Motivational Monday Day.
Motivational Monday.
Motivational Monday. The power of one. Start your day by drinking 1 cup of water. Start by paying toward one debt. Start by making one sale. Start by deleting one old contact. Start by walking 1 lap. Start by attending 1 event. Start by writing 1 paragraph. Just start. Start today. The power of one.
Motivational Monday.
I think I'll start. I'll cancel 1 subscription.
Gee, to that publication nobody reads?
To the only paper in town.
Waste of ink and paper.
Well, it's just landfill fodder, so, and that's about all it's worth.
Yeah.
Well, I can't until my bird dies. I got to have something to put in the bird cage, so,
they claim to be all environmentally friendly and everything, but...
Well, they are. They're great for collecting bird poop.
Well, I'm talking about they force the paper subscription on you. If you just want an online subscription to be ecologically friendly...
Right, yeah.
It costs twice as much as it does if you get both the online and the paper delivery.
Right.
So if you don't take the paper delivery, they charge you twice as much for the online. That's to encourage you to get a paper delivery. Why? So that they can, A, cut more trees, B, waste more ink, 3, waste a lot of printing time, and hurt the environment.
Oh, well, hey, and when you get the paper, it comes in a plastic bag, which is great for your coffee.
There you go. There you go. And it never breaks down.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes if it's going to rain, you get it wrapped twice the plastic for 1.
Yep.
And it's just something annoying in the driveway you got to throw away.
Or you just drive over it like I see a lot of people do.
Yeah.
A couple of dozen papers in the driveway. I guess they're filling the potholes.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is, they try to bump the circulation up by doing it this way, so they can get those companies that buy inserts. If you got enough subscriptions, then they'll buy inserts. Even though you smush those too with your tires.
Yeah. Well, there might be actually some value in some of those inserts. You know, they're probably worth looking through. Maybe I should start. The rest of the paper's not. But
yeah, you become everybody's worst nightmare. You're in the store
with coupons,
and the lady in front of you's got two big baskets full of stuff and a big notebook full of coupons.
Yeah, you know you're in trouble when she's got the accordion folder under her arm.
Yeah, and she'll get those two big baskets, and her bill's $16. You got 3 items in yours,
right,
and it's $90.
Yeah.
Hers take 18 bags to get out of the store, and mine takes 1.
You can save some money. That's fact.
Yeah, if you know how to play it, but you got to buy big quantities a lot of time to make it all work. I mean, it's an art to do it.
It is.
Well, with the NFL draft going on there in Nashville, there were a lot of bachelorette parties there because it's a popular destination this time of year. But apparently the girls were annoyed by all the guys in town for the NFL draft weekend. Let's see, your girl, and you got your choice of, hey, I come to see Mark get drafted.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Or, Shaquan, get drafted. Come on, buddy. Whatever it is. So anyway, here's some real ladies that were just totally annoyed by all this.
It just changes, the crowd, what you're here for. I don't want to hang out with a bunch of football guys. No. I'm good. I already have to watch football on Sundays.
And did you realize that the NFL draft was going to be here?
No.
No idea. Mind blown when we landed.
We had no idea.
No idea.
When did I start planning the draft? Because I feel like I just found out about this.
I found out 3 days ago, and it made me want to cry.
We had to get dropped off early and walk the rest of the way.
The person that's going to pay for this is my husband when I refuse to watch football the entire season. The worst.
He'll actually be pretty happy. I hate to tell her that, but
let's see.
He won't be disappointed. He may have that hang down. Oh, you're not going to watch the football with me? But he's doing cartwheels in his mind.
And she's saying, yeah, let's see. She's married. She's flown into Nashville with her friends to party. Does this sound like a secure marriage to you?
Well, lots of them do it.
Okay. They're out there for a legit reason, but now we're going with my girlfriends to party.
Yeah, they had one of the biggest parties of the year right there in Nashville. What are they complaining about? Oh, they didn't want to hang around with some football guys.
Football players. I had to watch it with my husband.
Yeah, that's right. He's a football guy. I don't want to hang around with football guys like my husband. Yeah, okay.
All the stress of it all. I got to save that one. That's a good one. I'll go ahead and download it now so I know I got it. Let's see here. Where are we? Let's see. Okay. Mattress Firm is doing a snooze intern relationship where part of the duties include taking naps. They're accepting applications until May 3rd. They posted a video where last year's intern really talked it up.
Hey guys, I'm Julianne. And I'm Rhea. And we're Mattress Firm's first ever snooze turns. Last summer, we were lucky enough to get paid to sleep.
Yep, that's right. It's a real thing. After sleeping my best life, I realized that my experience was more than just an internship. Being Sue's turn was the job of my dreams. Get it? And now it's your turn. Mattress Firm is looking for their next lumber star. So if you think you have what it takes to be the next news turn, go to mattressfirm.com/news turn to learn more.
And remember, it doesn't pay anything. Except for you get all worked up.
Which is what it's worth. Nothing.
They're just looking for hot girls to sleep.
Apparently.
Take their promotionals, wink, wink photos.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the guy in Northern California left the gate to his backyard open last week.
Oh, and what wandered in?
And a flock of 200 sheep wandered in.
Oh, okay.
Apparently, the city uses them to clear vegetation and reduce fire hazards.
You go. Oh, go figure that. Yeah. Goats need goats.
Yeah. So, well, sheep rip it out by the root. That's why they like sheep.
Goats pretty much do. Yes, but goats eat everything. Sheep won't necessarily go after all those vines and things. Goats will tear that stuff up.
with the briars on it?
All of it.
So they had to herd him out while his wife shook a tambourine at him. Here's how it sounded.
Oh no! Out of the yard, everybody, out of the yard. Oh no! Everybody out! Get off my lawn! What do I do? Get out of here! Keep shaking it, it's working! This is crazy! Woo! Oh, the black sheep is last! Yes, black sheep! Take them with you. Close the gate. Good sheep.
Sounds like the newsroom over at the Pilot.
Yeah. Just at the right genius level over there, isn't it? Yeah. But the need of those sheep don't do it, but goats that go,
Yeah, they're a little different, yes.
Yeah, I like those. April 29th, that would be today, is made up of, is a made-up holiday called International Dance Day. Can you believe it? According to a survey for the holiday, 49% of us like dancing. My dyslexia. 94% of us like dancing. I guess I fall in that 3% area there.
We can dance if we want to.
17% of us admit we're terrible dancers. I fall in that. And 13% of us dance by ourselves when no one's watching. I think I know people that do that.
I think you probably know one.
And it's not me.
Not me either. I bet Matt does. He's over there dancing now in front of the radio.
Yeah. Grossing people out. Or looking real different doing it. According to a new survey, rich young men are the most likely to pretend they know something when they actually have no clue.
Rich young men?
According to a new survey, rich young men are most likely to pretend they know something when they actually have no clue. Here's a little scene from Billy Madison where Adam Sandler gets called out for being a moron.
Mr. Madison, what you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
Okay, a simple wrong would have done just fine, but...
One of his better movies.
Was it? I don't know. I don't think I've ever seen an Adam Sandler movie.
Haven't missed much. Most of them
apparently not.
Very torturous to watch. And according to a new study, men who pretend that like they're not interested in sex end up having more.
Ooh, there you go. Play hard to get.
Because being overeager comes off as unattractive.
comes across as needy. Please.
Yes, I'll take mercy sex. Here's the scene in the 40-year-old virgin where Steve Carell promises to go 20 dates with no action.
That is a fantastic idea.
Really?
Totally.
No sex?
No, why do that?
Well, I never thought you'd go for it.
I'm going for it.
Yeah, you know what most guys would be saying, yeah, right now, but like by the third date, it'd be, hey, baby, I really need to physically express how I feel and all that stuff.
Hey, baby, 3 dates, heck, make it 10. 10 dates.
How about 15?
Screw your 15. 20 dates.
Okay, 20 dates.
20 dates.
Okay, still don't want to see the movie.
Yeah, it's another movie I haven't seen. Okay.
Well, the transplant organ's been delivered by drone for the first time. It happened in Baltimore 10 days ago, and it was a kidney. It flew through the city for 3 miles a little after midnight. The University of Maryland put it together, and the comps in the FAA signed off. The kidney went to a 44-year-old woman who had been on dialysis for 8 years. She was released from the hospital 4 days later. Here's the launching and landing.
We're ready to receive the organ.
Cleared for launch. Let's make some history.
Launch.
We're launching.
Aircraft is airborne.
All right, aircraft has successfully landed. Vehicle has disarmed itself. I'm approaching the vehicle to hardware disarm.
Temperature's appropriate. Organ doesn't appear to be injured at all. Looks like a perfectly transplantable organ.
Okay, fine. 3 miles across town?
4.
4 miles across town, okay.
Isn't that what I said?
I don't know.
I don't know, 3, 4. Yeah, it was, I don't see it. 3 miles, you're right. I bow to the superior knowledge. The team doctor behind the drone talked about delivering a human organ for the first time. One little fact, 2,700 kidneys get thrown out every year because they can't get them to the patient fast enough.
We want to prove that this can work, that we can safely transport an organ, even if it were a few short miles, safely from point A to point B and reach that waiting recipient.
We have technologies now that allow the unmanned transportation of really any payload. And what we've done is try to innovate those systems to allow our patients better access to higher quality transplantable organs.
This is a major step towards reinventing the way that the current system of organs are moved. And I think we help a lot of people this way. Might take a long time, but it's the first step. Go team.
But, I tell you, that's fine if it works, and apparently it does. But to my mind, the last thing they should be doing is advertising one word about this, because the next time they go to do it, some numbnuts is going to be out there and try to intercept the drone.
If he knows when and where it's going.
Well, it's going to be, they know where it's going to go. It's going to go to a hospital or something. They should have just, let
It'd be my luck to run into a herd of bats and tear up the drone, and down goes the kidneys.
Well, you have all those kind of things too, but somebody deliberately did this.
Truly, what could possibly go wrong?
What is that? Looks like a UFO. And I know UFOs. Well, get ready, because I'm about to save humanity. Woo! I get you, UFO.
There you go.
You got that, too.
That would be me.
Well, and where was it? Downtown Boston? And hopefully nobody's out there with a shotgun, but,
Well, let's use our imagination a little bit differently then.
Now, don't get me wrong. I am very appreciative to the entire team and their success of drone delivering my kidney for the operation. But they dropped off the bill to my room today, and I had no idea it was an additional 10 grand. And they could have used a truck. I would have had somebody drive it over. I would have paid for Uber to drive it if I would have known 10 grand. Why don't they tell us these things when we come in? Is that faster beeping a bad sign?
Apparently.
Yeah, it's kind of like when you are in an accident or something and you have to have a life flight.
Right.
I guess they tell you on the way, oh, by the way.
Yeah, this is costing.
This isn't covered by insurance,
Right.
and it's a $35,000 ride for you.
Right.
You do have $35,000, don't you? Or we're going to shove you out the back of this airplane.
Yeah. Or you're going to be an organ donor when you get there. Yeah.
Oh, wow. That would be bad. During the game between the Brewers and the Mets last night, left fielder Ryan Braun was going after a fly ball when a Mets fan reached over the fence to try to catch it and catch it in his beer. Neither called the ball, but the fan did manage to spill the beer all over the Braun.
3-2 pitch coming to Alonso, and a fly ball hit back into left field. Braun will have enough room. Really, no, it goes off the wall. And Alonso around second. Boy, somebody's spilling a beer or something on Ryan Braun out there as Alonso wheels all the way to third.
And Ryan Braun contending that he was interfered with. As Braun jumped, it looked as if something splashed down on Braun as he was trying to make a play. He went up and tried to make the catch, and there was a fan with a big cup of beer that spilled it all over Braun.
That's just craziness. Yeah, that cannot happen.
No, it can happen. That is one thing why I've never understood why they don't offset the fence from, the first row or that first row there in the outfield, etc. But, I guess that's that many less
So they
seats
crowd in
to
a few
sell.
more $800 seats.
Yeah, apparently.
Well,
old
hopefully
stadiums
it won't make a difference in time come playoff time.
Yeah, true.
As far as the numbers go. Did they win the game?
They've had this problem for ages. This isn't. In one of the series, what was that little kid stuck his hand out there and grabbed the ball? And, it was bad.
I saw A-Rod. He was in the. Well, first of all, ESPN had the Major League Baseball channel had their announcer's table set up in the stands. I went, wow, looks like high school football there.
Yeah.
The way we have to do it. And A-Rod was one of the announcers for a while. And I guess since his wife was judging the dance thing on the other channel.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
He had time off. But he went out to center field up in the stands and was playing catch with the center fielder during warm-ups. And they were throwing the ball back and forth. And they had speed on it.
Well, hey, that's entertainment for the masses.
Yeah. So everybody having fun at the ball game. Let's see. Anything else worth talking about? No, I doubt it. Right quick. We'll do today's impossible question. 41 is the average age when people start doing this in order to get healthy.
Dieting.
You're on the right track. This is actually taking something.
Oh, supplements.
That's it. Taking vitamins. Yeah. I take a big wad of
Clouds
them.
will decrease about the area as we go into the afternoon, and so will those wind speeds. Expect highs today in the low to mid 70s. It will be cooler for us, and temperatures to the south will top in the upper 70s. Partly cloudy tonight, falling into the lower 60s across the area. By the afternoon on Tuesday, we will be about 10 degrees above where we should be for this time of the year, in the mid to upper 80s. I'm meteorologist Peter Sherwood in the Weather Center.
Broadcasting from the top of the North Carolina Sand Hills, 97.3 FM, 104.1 FM, and 990 AM, WEEB, Southern Pines, Pinehurst, Aberdeen.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. President Trump says he spoke at length with a Southern California rabbi wounded in a Saturday attack on his synagogue in Poway near San Diego. The president extending warmest condolences to the congregation. 3 people were wounded, 1 killed in the attack, and a vigil has been held in honor of the victims.
People gathered in a park in Poway to hold candles and listen to prayer in Hebrew. Rabbi Yisrael Goldstein earlier talked about the member of his congregation who was killed, Lori Kay.
In my own interpretation, Lori took the bullet for all of us. She died to protect all of us.
Goldstein was shot by the gunman. He lost a finger. He expected more shots.
Miraculously, just miraculously, the gun jammed.
Goldstein said terrorism like this will not take us down. Police say the suspect, John T. Ernest, had no previous contact with law enforcement. I'm Ed Donahue.
7 people wounded, 1 killed when a gunman opened fire on crowds gathered for a Sunday afternoon cookout in West Baltimore. Police Commissioner Michael Harrison says the gunman walked up and opened fire. Suspect still at large. Joe Biden picking Pennsylvania as the venue for his first campaign speech of the Democrat presidential race.
The former vice president's speech to an organized labor crowd in Pittsburgh comes days after he announced his candidacy and attended a fundraiser in Philadelphia. The Pennsylvania city signals Biden's hope of owning what may be the toughest battleground of next year's election. President Trump's campaign is already mapping out a strategy to win Pennsylvania for a second time, and the state forms the core of the president's likeliest path to victory.
Correspondent Jeremy House. At the moment, stock futures pointing to a lower open on Wall Street. Dow futures down 20 points, and S&P futures 2 points in the red. More on these stories at townhall.com.
If credit card debt has you down, nonprofit Trinity Debt Management can help. Trinity will consolidate your accounts into one easy-to-manage monthly payment, put a stop to late fees, and drastically reduce your interest. You'll pay thousands less than you originally owed. It's not a loan. It's a way to become debt-free and possibly improve your credit score. So call Trinity and talk to a certified counselor. They'll explain their proven program to you with no pressure, just practical solutions and hope for tomorrow. Are you ready to pay off your credit cards in less time for less money? Then call for a free, no-obligation debt analysis and become debt-free for keeps. If your debt has you down, we should talk. Gather up your bills and call this toll-free number for a free, no-obligation debt analysis. Call 1-800-990-6976. That's 1-800-990-6976. 1-800-990-6976.
Spain's third parliamentary election in less than 4 years, doing little to dispel uncertainty over the political future of the Eurozone's fourth largest economy.
What you're seeing is quite a fragmented political landscape, with the left having done very well, the right being splintered. For the first time, we do see the far right with seats in government. Vox Party, populist nationalists, won seats for the very first time since the death of Spain's military dictator, Francisco Franco, in the mid-1970s. So that is a big headline still, but they didn't quite make the political earthquake that they were really hoping for. And what they did do was rob votes from other right-wing parties who are licking their wounds this morning.
The BBC's Katja Adler in Madrid. Rains from Cyclone Kenneth continue to pound the northeastern city of Pemba in Mozambique and surrounding areas. Massive flooding, widespread destruction. News and analysis at townhall.com. The Scandinavian Airlines pilot strike has led to roughly 600 flight cancellations, leaving thousands of passengers stranded.
The flag carrier of Denmark, Norway and Sweden has announced further flight cancellations after talks broke down on a new collective bargaining agreement. SAS plans to cancel another 1,200 flights early this week, hitting some 110,000 passengers. The open-ended strike started Friday following the collapse of pay negotiations with the pilot group, which represents 95% of the company's pilots in the 3 countries. The company says it deeply regrets the distress to clients on its domestic, European and long-haul flights. I'm Charles de Ledesma.
Charges have been upgraded against a South Carolina woman accused of leaving her newborn daughter to die in a cardboard box in an empty field. The lesser charges upgraded to murder last week. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Being overweight is the number one health problem in America today. It leads to so many avoidable health issues. If you have a weight problem and finally want to do something about it, then do what I did and participate in the Transforming You Weight Loss Program offered by Dr. Sharon Wright at Wright Chiropractic in Seven Lakes. It's a customized, physician-assisted program based on your body type and your goals. A healthier, more vibrant, spirited, and slimmer you emerges. Now, I lost 25 pounds in the first month and 50 pounds to date. That keeps me motivated. Now, the program is easy to follow. I'm Steve Leader Adams, and if I can do it, you can do it. Give Dr. Wright a call and set up your no-charge consultation about the Transforming You Weight Loss Program at 910-673-2225. That's White Chiropractic at 673-2225.
If you have inflammation, you know how painful it can be. Just imagine how painful it is for your pet, even though they never complain. Anti-inflammatories work, but are even harder on your pet's organs than yours. Thankfully, there's an alternative that more and more people are using to treat pain, but often don't realize is great for pets too. I'm talking about CBD oil and treats from Flowland. Come into Flowland and let's discuss how CBD oil and treats can benefit a range of issues for your pet. Issues like arthritis, anxiety, appetite, digestion, seizures, mood, and more. You shouldn't be paying an arm and a leg for one of nature's most beneficial products. Flowland, your best and most affordable source for CBD products for humans and pets on US 1 North in Aberdeen.
Are you tired of trying to get a handle on your water chemistry? Is your pool green every time you turn around? Is your spa water cloudy or foamy? Well, Southern Tropics Pools and Spas can help. We offer free water testing and have the experience and knowledge to keep your water sparkling clear all year long. We sell the highest quality chemicals formulated without fillers or binders. No gimmicks, no Band-Aids, just results. We're across US 1 from the new Ford dealership, right between Gulf Augusta and the Smoke Inn. Southern Tropics Pools and Spas.
In Moore County, you know how much it means to have neighbors you can count on, like the one who mowed your lawn and trimmed and raked your pine straw the week you were sick. Well, here's another good neighbor you can count on. I'm Ward Rowland, State Farm Agent in downtown Southern Pines. My team and I are here to help life go right when you combine your home and auto insurance, which can save you money and time. So combine home and auto and start the savings rolling. Call me today, 910-725-0915.
NCN News. I'm Mike Rayleigh. New details are emerging about efforts that were made to stop the gunman inside the Poway, California synagogue. Oscar Stewart, who has military service, was praying at the time when he heard the gunshot.
I was praying. I was reading, paying attention to the Torah reading, and then I heard the gunshots. That was the first thing I heard that took my attention away from what I was doing.
A deadly shooting at a Southwest Charlotte hotel Sunday was the city's third homicide of the day. Police are still looking for the suspects in all three shootings and hope information from the survivors will help them get a better idea of people responsible for the violence. Major Mike Campagna tells WSOC News.
There's a lot of things that can be done, I think, but they have to be done holistically.
One more North Carolina school system is closing down next month for a teacher rally, raising the total to 31. Lee County Schools announced its closing for the May 1st teacher rally in Raleigh. The Rutherford County Assistant Fire Marshal John Greenway says a fire at an American zinc plant in Mooresville is still burning. He says a decision was made to pull the firefighters away from the fire because their turnout gear tested positive for hazardous materials. Global defense spending last year reached its highest level since the Cold War. More from CBS's Cammie McCormick.
The spending was fueled by the U.S. and China. The Stockholm International Peace Research Institute says overall global military spending hit nearly $2 trillion. That's up nearly 3% from the previous year and the highest amount since 1988 when the Cold War began winding down. U.S. military spending increased 4.5%, making it the world's biggest spender.
The decision facing the House Democrats over whether to proceed with an impeachment of President Trump has received a lot of attention in recent days. 4th District Congressman David Price.
We have one chance to get this right. Impeachment may be the course that we take.
You're listening to NCN News.
Medicaid expansion, school safety, a statewide bond package, the next state budget. North Carolina lawmakers are tackling these and other topics. You can follow all the action with Carolina Journal. How would these proposals affect you, your wallet, your family? Carolina Journal offers answers. Available each month as a free newspaper. Every day online at carolinajournal.com. Carolina Journal, your best source for government news that affects you. Visit carolinajournal.com today.
A Sport Clips Championship haircut experience makes you feel like your hair has its own walk-up music. Maybe you play sports. Maybe you play sports online. Or maybe your sport is keeping up with your kids. Your hair deserves its own walk-up music, and at Sport Clips, we make it easy. A game-changing cut from a stylist trained for guys while you're surrounded by sports. Hair this good needs no introduction, but you'll want one anyway. So download the app, check in, and get your hair in the game.
The New York Times is apologizing for an op-ed cartoon. Over to CBS's Vicki Barker.
The cartoon in the Times' overseas editions showed a blind President Trump wearing a skull cap and a Star of David collar being led on a leash by Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. It came from a Portuguese newspaper, and its appearance in the Times drew hundreds of complaints from individuals and organizations worldwide. That apology not accepted, says the American Jewish Committee, until the Times better explains what it's doing to ensure this never happens again. Vicki Barker, CBS News.
The body of a second boater that went missing this weekend in Martin County has been found. Crews found the body of Mac Goss around 1 p.m. on Sunday in the same area of the pond they found Edward Keel's body. A North Carolina sheriff says he plans to continue its agreement with U.S. immigration authorities. Henderson County Sheriff Lowell Griffin said after careful consideration and deliberation, his department will renew the agreement with the Department of Homeland Security. A member of TV's Brady Bunch is trying to spread her true beliefs about the measles vaccine. CBS's Deborah Rodriguez.
Here's the story. Maureen McCormick, who played Marcia, is upset a Facebook anti-vaccination group has been using her image as a mascot.
You have to get sick. Sure can't beat the measles.
Marcia downplaying the danger of the disease in a 1969 episode of the show when she and her 5 TV sibs all got sick. Mom Carol Brady barely batting an eyelash.
You certainly got all the symptoms. Slight temperature, a lot of dots, and a great big smile.
McCormick tells NPR she got the measles herself as a kid and it was no fun. She says she's pro-vax and got her own daughter immunized. Deborah Rodriguez, CBS News.
A Cabarrus County community is devastated after a former military officer was killed when a shed collapsed over the weekend. Mike Rayleigh, NCN News.
We are kicking off the start of the morning with breezy conditions around. Wind speeds are expected to decrease as we go into the afternoon, and so will those clouds. High temperatures for today will be on the cooler side as we top off in the low to mid 70s. Areas to the south will be warmer in the upper 70s. Partly cloudy tonight, falling off into the lower 60s. Highs by tomorrow afternoon will be in the mid to upper 80s. I'm meteorologist Peter Sherwood in the Weather Center.
Right now, here in the Sand Hills area, is mostly cloudy, 59 degrees, humidity 78%, dew point 52, pressures 30-30, winds northeast at 3. Visibility is at 10 statute miles. It's 8:13. Let's take a look at your Sand Hills news for this Monday morning. Construction work on the new roundabout on Midland Road at NC 22 is expected to begin as early as June 3rd. The project is part of a transformational plan to destroy the historic corridor. Barnhill Contracting Company was awarded the $2.8 million contract to begin the destruction of the corridor. The company is one of the state's largest general contractors. Bidding opened in mid-February for 2 side-by-side projects in Southern Pines, including the roundabout and access with restricted turning lanes at US 1 interchange on Midland Road. Once the work begins, traffic will be detoured around the area for 75 days. The historic Midland Road corridor has been a focus of intense study and debate for several years. A comprehensive Midland Road corridor plan was forced on the community in 2018. The plan includes closing 61 of 77 median crossings, changing 14 intersections, a second roundabout at Airport Road, and cutting and removing hundreds of trees. Most homeowners will be forced to drive a mile out of their way in order to access their property. County detectives arrested Abraham Hernandez Diaz, 21 years of age, of Robbins, Diaz was charged with 1 count of indecent liberties with a child. He was confined to the detention center under a $75,000 bond. And last Thursday, Moore County jury convicted Justin Edward Crisco of Seagroves of felony discharging a weapon into an occupied property and assault with a deadly weapon inflicting serious injury for shooting Matthew Muntz on September of 2017. After the state presented its case, Crisco testified that the shooting was in self-defense. The jury returned a verdict of guilty to felony discharge a weapon into an occupied property and assault with a deadly weapon inflicting serious injury. The defendant received 2 active sentences of 29 to 47 months in prison. That's your latest Sand Hills news this morning. With Stand By, here comes your latest in sports right here on Talk 97.3 FM, 104.1 FM, and 990 AM WEEB, where it is 8:16.
NCN Sports. Good morning. I'm Tony Rixby. The Carolina Hurricanes lost their starting goaltender and a frontline defenseman to injuries on Sunday, yet managed to take a 2-0 lead over the New York Islanders in the second round of the Stanley Cup playoffs. Curtis McElhaney stopped all 17 shots he faced after replacing Peter Mrazek, who left with a lower body injury after making a save early in the second period. Coach Rod Brindamore says dealing with injuries is part of the game.
It's not easy, that's for sure, because you're asking a lot of guys that they're out of their comfort zone or doing things that they don't normally do. But it's playoffs. I mean, that's part of it. It is a war of attrition a lot of times in the playoffs, and you just got to figure it out.
Hurricanes will be hosting Game 3 on Wednesday night at PNC Arena in Raleigh. The Avalanche steal home ice advantage from the Sharks, as we hear from Ryan Leone.
The Avalanche scored 3 unanswered goals and hang on to beat the Sharks 4-3. The win for the Avs ends the Sharks' 4-game win streak. Tyson Barrie had a goal and 2 assists, and the series is now tied at a game apiece. The Sharks with a first-period goal from Evander Kane. Brett Burns scored in the third to make it a 1-goal game. After an empty netter from the Avs, the Sharks made it interesting with a second goal from Burns to make it a 4-3 deficit, but there were only 10 seconds remaining in the period. Games 3 and 4 will be played in Denver. Ryan Leong, San Jose.
The Golden State Warriors and Boston Celtics opening their respective NBA Conference semifinal series with victories. In Milwaukee, Kyrie Irving and Al Horford each had double-doubles. The Celtics ripping the top-ranked Bucks 112-90. Irving finished with 26 points and 11 assists. Meanwhile, the Warriors posted a 104-100 win over the Houston Rockets in that series. You're listening to NCN Sports.
The new FN 509 midsize 9mm pistol is now part of FN's legendary concealed carry lineup, and it is a natural fit. With its smaller grip frame modeled after the battle-proven million rounds tested FN 509, the FN 509 midsize comes with 2 15-round magazines and naturally improves concealability. Available at your local firearms dealer. FN, the world's most battle-proven firearms.
Every year, an estimated 700,000 people in the U.S. are diagnosed with a type of skin cancer called cutaneous squamous cell carcinoma, or CSCC. CSCC is the second most common skin cancer in the U.S. and often presents as dry patches on sun-exposed parts of the body. CSCC is readily treatable when caught early, but can turn deadly in advanced stages. People living in the southern half of the U.S. are especially at risk for advanced CSCC. Learn more at skincancerquestions.com. This report is brought to you by Regeneron and Sanofi.
Chevrolet goes 1-2 at Talladega. Jerry Jordan reports.
Team orders prevailed as the Chevrolets committed to sticking together at Talladega Superspeedway, and that paid off as Chase Elliott took the checkered flag, followed by teammate Alex Bowman in second. For Hendrick Motorsports, the 1-2 finish was the team's best since February 2016. Following Elliott and Bowman to the line was rookie driver Ryan Preece in third. Joey Logano, who led 37 laps, finished fourth with rookie Daniel Hemrick in fifth. A last-lap crash took out multiple cars with Kyle Larson flipping down the backstretch. He was given the all-clear by medical staff. Jerry Jordan, Talladega, Alabama.
Tom Perdice Jr. and Scott Hoke completed a wire-to-wire victory in the PGA Tour's Champions Bass Pro Legends. They opened with Perdice's hole-in-one on the Top of the Rock par 3 course. Tony Rixby, NCN Sports.
The Honda Dream Garage Spring event is going on now at Leith Honda Aberdeen.
With a huge selection of new 2019 vehicles, great prices, and no games or gimmicks, Leith Honda Aberdeen makes it easy for you. Our service department makes it quick and easy for you as well. We provide 100% customer satisfaction for all of your car needs. We mean it when we say we're easy to get to and easy to deal with. Leith Honda Aberdeen, the name you can trust.
Great news. During the spring sales event at Leith Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Aberdeen, all new 2019 vehicles are available with easy pricing. Just ask. At Leith Aberdeen, we strive to make it easy for you, not only with buying a new vehicle, but when you have to service your vehicle as well. We have quick and easy oil, brake, and tire services available just for you. Leith Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Aberdeen. Easy to get to and easy to deal with. Come in today.
At Sandhills Collision Center in Seven Lakes, we proudly serve all your automotive repair, auto body restoration, and collision repair needs. With our brand new state-of-the-art cheap straightening system and eco-friendly AmeriCure paint booth, you can rest assured that your vehicle, boat, or RV will receive top-notch repair and flawless paint jobs. And for all you aviators, we do aircraft body repair too. Sandhills Collision Repair Center is veteran-owned and offers a 5% discount to our military family. We give free estimate and accept all insurance and self-pay. All our ATECs will provide superior customer service from start to finish because we are committed to quality and prompt expert service. Bring your automobile, boat, or RV by today for a free quote at 135 Village View Drive in Seven Lakes. That's just 2 minutes from the Food Lion on Seven Lakes Drive. Or call us at 910-673-AUTO. That's 673-AUTO. Sandhills Collision Center, because you deserve the best.
Hi, this is Chef Karen at Philly and Colts. Extensive research and polling results have confirmed moms do not want to cook on Mother's Day. In fact, mothers in Moore County really want to go to Philly and Colts. Bring the whole gang and enjoy a brunch fit for, well, Mom. Omelets, bacon and sausage, French toast, and cheese blintzes. Beef brisket, pork loin, mac and cheese, salads, veggies, and desserts. Featuring my almost famous fresh strawberry pie. Make reservations. This is our most popular buffet. Philly and Colts, 692-4411.
Serving more people, more places, 24/7. If your AC breaks down, we'll restore your indoor heaven. Installation or repair, one call, we'll be there. It's your family, don't delay. Comfort's just a call away. We're Comfort Services. Comfort Services.
Come to Comfort Services in Aberdeen to get a free estimate on a new Carrier system or heat pump, and you may qualify for a rebate up to $2,000 from Carrier. Get in on the savings and purchase a qualifying heating or cooling product before the Cool Cash rebate ends June 30th. You may also qualify for financing options as well. Stop into Comfort Services on Highway 5 next to the Habitat store in Aberdeen, or call 910-695-2665. Carrier and Comfort Services, a great team.
Comfort's just a call away. Comfort Services.
This is Miriam Chu inviting you to attend the Moore Republican Women's Club Luncheon Monday, May 6th, 11:30 a.m. at Pinehurst Members Club Outlook Ballroom. Cost is $20 for members, associates, and their spouses, $35 for non-members. Our guest speaker will be Claire Lopez, internationally renowned expert on terrorism. Deadline for reservation will be noon on April 30th. Please RSVP at mrwnc.org or call Lisa Sheridan, our luncheon chair, to reserve by phone at 910-400-5520. We regret we cannot accommodate walk-ins. This is Miriam Chu. I look forward to seeing you there.
Jump into the fire at Brick's Woodfire Pizza at the Kohl's Shopping Center and check out the new menu. In addition to the great selection of wood-fired pizzas, Brick's now has wood-fired wings in 3 flavors, delicious soups, pastas, salads, and sandwiches, all made fresh daily. Brick's Pizza now serves Sunday brunch from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. with your choice of 6 menu items and all bottles of wine Sundays at half price. Jump into the fire at Brick's Woodfire Pizza, Kohl's Shopping Center, Southern Pines. Open every day at 11 a.m.
You can jump into the fire.
Hello, I'm John Zumwalt, and you're in the Zumwalt Zone. You know, I never fully responded on here to the editorial in the pathetic Pilot newspaper. I'm going to go into that in detail on here at the 8:30 live program today. If you miss it, it'll be posted on the WEEB website. I was hoping they'd answer me point by point with facts. Why wouldn't they? Maybe the facts don't line up the way they want them to? It's just a question. The whole piece was typical of the pathetic pilot. It felt to me like it had been written by a complete idiot. Oh, okay, that was mean. Let me see if I can do a little better. It felt to me like it had been written by a complete idiot. Well, no, apparently not. Even though I was surprised at some of the nonsense the pathetic pilot wrote in what I'd classify as about an 8th grade level, there's one thing they wrote that did not surprise me at all. It's a phrase they like to use when they finally realize they're whipped. It's their go-to phrase for help, we're trapped. They wrote, this is beneath Moore County. No, it's not. We're talking about millions of real dollars, money I want to see someone answer for. With all these guys running things, no wonder teachers have to buy their own supplies. I hope you'll listen live at 8:30 or go to the WEEB website. There's so much more to come out about how the schools handle your money. I just want you to know the facts. That's all. On the Zoom Walk Zone.
Clouds will decrease about the area as we go into the afternoon, and so will those wind speeds. Expect highs today in the low to mid 70s. It will be cooler for us, and temperatures to the south will top in the upper 70s. Partly cloudy tonight, falling into the lower 60s across the area. By the afternoon on Tuesday, we will be about 10 degrees above where we should be for this time of the year, in the mid to upper 80s. I'm meteorologist Peter Sherwood in the Weather Center.
And now, the Sandhills' #1 morning show. Mornings with the Leader Man. Here on Talk 97.3 FM, 104.1 FM, and 990 AM WEEB. And heard and seen around the world at talk973.com.
The best part of waking up is waking up with us.
Here we go again. Here we go again.
Can't put it off any longer.
Don't say it. Don't say it.
It's
Don't you say it. Monday.
It's Monday.
No!
Aren't you being a little overly dramatic?
No, I'm not.
I hate my job.
I hate my job. I hate it. I hate my job. I hate it.
Oh, well.
Back to work.
It's showtime.
If you believe in forever, then life is just a one-night stand.
Good morning. Talk 97.3 FM, 104.1 FM, and 990 AM WEEB. Welcome back to the most listened to program in all of the Sandhills. It is time for Mornings with the Leader Man. I am Steve Leader Adams, along with the Colonel, retired Marine Colonel Jeff Drummond. And, of course, John Jumwalt in here this half hour. Don't forget, of course, this program is being seen around the world on our live video stream. That's available to you at talk973.com. Upper right hand, top middle of the page is where the link for that is. Just tap it once and it'll get you there. If you're on your mobile device, your YouTube app will do the work for you. Just put Mornings with the Leader Man in there. If you're on your mobile device just needing our audio stream, we suggest many streaming services will carry us. That includes TuneIn, iTunes, Streama, Alexa, Google. Many others will also. Just put WEEB in the search and we should appear at the top of the results. And if you're on a website, of course, that stream's available to you anytime. And at the upper right-hand corner of every web page at talk973.com, where the icon says On the Air, Listen Live. Tap it once and you're listening just that quick. Weather for us today here in the Sandhills area. It's going to be getting summer like real fast here. Today, partly cloudy 75 tonight, 62 tomorrow, sunny 88. And if that isn't hot enough, Wednesday will top out at 90 degrees, still with partly cloudy skies. Thursday 86, Friday 85, then some moisture moves in over the weekend for Friday night, early Saturday. Shouldn't be a big deal, but chance of a shower, maybe a thunderstorm too. Saturday, look for a high of 77. Sunday, you got a chance of isolated thunderstorms, very small chance, and a high of 75. Right now around the Sandhills, winds to northeast at 13, visibility 10 statute miles. Humidity 78%, dew point 52, pressure is 30-30. It's cloudy still, and let me make sure that it's still holding current. Yeah, airport says it's still cloudy and 59 degrees here at Talk 97.3 FM, 104.1 FM and 990 AM WEEB. All right, it is 8:30 past the hour on this Monday morning, and in the studio with us this morning is John Zumwalt. John's done a lot of investigating work on this school issue, and the bottom line of it all, John, is there's $1.5 million here at stake that belongs to us, and we follow the statutes. Clancy and Thays did not. We should be able to put in claim for the $1.5 million bid bond. And the pilot I know was saying, and so the school board too, they were just echoing each other, saying that, we'd have to litigate it, and it might cost hundreds of thousands of dollars. No, we don't have to litigate it. You carry it to the insurance commissioner and say, one of the companies you licensed is not paying its policy. How about make them pay it? And let the state beat them up. Because when the state writes them a letter, it's going to get their attention a lot quicker.
Well, I think you're absolutely right, Steve, but the thing has grown to be much bigger than this $1.5 million bond. First, let me say hello to Jeff. I can actually remember his name.
Yes. I can remember yours, too.
And I feel like I need to say hello to the Pitiful Pilot staff. I know you're listening. And if you're really serious about buying advertising from us, just let us know. Let Steve know. We can't keep giving it to you free forever, but just let me know. And I really do appreciate you listening. All right, Steve, Jeff, I honestly do not know how we ever reached this point. Even at my age, as unnaive as I am, I just thought the information we were presenting here would be looked at and weighed, and that the bosses at the school would figure it at the very least needed to be investigated. And I figured the Pitiful Pilot would just print the facts, not try to cover it up. I warned from the start, just don't try to cover it up. And I don't think that they're necessarily trying. I think they've just, or rather the school board, I think they've been drawn into this because they trust this godlike man who they're afraid to question. I don't think anybody's more shocked than I am to see what's going on here. And for the first time since I've lived here, I truly understand why it's so hard for citizens and taxpayers to get the truth in Moore County. We've got a newspaper that, at least from my point of view, seems to be trying to cover this whole thing up. And I'll talk about them during the second part of this. You know, no matter what you may read, there's only one goal here. We want to see the Moore County School Board admit that Superintendent Bob Grimacy and his sidekick, John Barath, are out of control. That means the school board will have to admit they've let them get out of control. These two guys are blowing money right and left, and they keep coming back to the county commissioners asking for more. I honestly don't think that you, that'd be the listeners, the taxpayers, or the commissioners, the county commissioners, are getting a straight poop from these two guys. And why we can't get the school board to investigate, or the pilot to list the facts, the pathetic pilot to list the facts, I don't know. You've heard me present overwhelming documentation to cause you to at least question the things that I'm raising. Now, I warned, that's not the right word. Let me say I cautioned the school board before, do not get drawn into a cover-up. It's like your pride would not allow you to look at these things. No one's after you. I was afraid they might get drawn into a cover-up because of all they have of their employee, Grimacy. School board members who are listening, I know every single one of you. I like all of you, well, except for one of you. Do you actually think I'm after you? Don't believe what the lying, pathetic pilot said. I just want you to think of the people who depend on you and take care of us the way we depend upon you to take care of us. And that means just consider the facts for yourself. Be a free thinker. Don't take this personal. In spite of what the pathetic pilot wrote, I've never accused anyone on the school board of lying. Shame on you, pathetic pilot. Shame on you. You perfectly displayed your total lack of respect for the facts when you wrote what you did. And pilot, you're not used to people coming back at you, are you? Well, I'm going to give you a bogey. How you like that? I'm double bogey. I'm also going to give you my personal dishonorable discharge from being a decent form of a news in this community. I just don't trust you. That's just me, though. Oh, and a whole lot of others. All right, back to this whole mess, the very latest. As I stated last week, I submitted a Freedom of Information Act request, and that's called a FOIA, to the schools, asking them to show documentation as to how SFLA architects seems to be always the one architect we select. I just want to know the bidding process because there are millions of dollars involved here. And I'd like to think everyone else would want to know as well, including the pathetic pilot. I'm guessing if you're listening to this, you'd like to know why do we pick the same architecture firm? There could be a very good reason for it. Just want to know, that's all. Well, I got a response from Catherine Murphy at Moore County Schools. I thought her response was reasonable and actually kind of above the call of duty, and I appreciated it. Miss Murphy stated that she was on personal leave, which we all understand and everyone takes leave, and she'd like to look at my request in more detail when she arrives back at work, and that'll be today. But still, even though she was on leave, she took time to let me know that the details of the process and the Board of Education's final selection of that architect was presented at a March 2016 work session. She also took the time to send me that link. Thank you, Mrs. Murphy, or Miss Murphy, pardon me. Well, I watched the link she provided. I watched it several times. As a matter of fact, I saw myself in the video. I was there and still didn't realize what was going on because I was one of the ones that was still enamored of His Royal Highness, the Dr. Bob at the time. I was trying to discover while I watched these videos how the school always seems to be using the same architectural firm, SFLA. Now, you might recall SFLA are the ones being investigated by state investigators, law enforcement in South Carolina. The implication is that they influenced the school system there in ways that were illegal. In fact, cops are investigating whether the school's facility manager, the operations manager, might have influenced that contract. That contract cost them more than $200 million for 5 new schools. Oh, and they got that work, in spite of the fact that they were by far the most expensive bid. Now, as you know, Moore County Facilities Manager is John Barath. John, as luck would have it, used to be a high-ranking employee with SFLA before he came to work here. SFLA, the ones that are under investigation for having ties that led them to get a free contract with their last school district. Now, without questioning John Barath's integrity or his honesty, does it make business sense to have him leading the way on which firm we should use, especially when the schools always pick the same firm, the one that's under investigation for suspicion of not being honest in these bidding wars? Okay, let's get back to the selection process. You can watch the video for yourself. That's a good thing about WEEB as opposed to the pathetic pilot. Steve, the owner here, links all of our documentation and all my comments to the station website. That allows you to easily document what we're telling you. You don't have to wonder or guess or read between the lines of the things the pathetic pilot tries to, the triple P tries to tell you. And it makes it even more of a mystery as to why the pathetic pilot doesn't report this because it's out there. I tell you, Steve, I do not get the energy that's going into covering this up. But anyway, when you watch the video, and by the way, it was recorded on March 7th, 2016. That's 3 years ago. You'll hear the superintendent explain to the school board how they came to select SFLA to serve as architects on our new schools. And I want to tell you, we've paid these folks lots of money, and I'll be talking next week about how much money we've paid them, and we've gotten zero for it that's of any use to us at all. When the school board chairman at that time, Bruce Cunningham, asked on video about the selection process for the architects, Grimacy states he's very happy, that's his words, to defer to John Barath. Well, I bet you were. Now remember, John Barath used to be a high-level employee with the firm that always gets selected. Barath gives his report to the board. He states that they had issued a request for qualifications. This was done to solicit response from designers for the design of the 3 elementary schools. And that's probably not an exact quote, but it's pretty close. He stated they had received 14 responses to their inquiry. 14. Out of that group of 14 responses, he says, they chose a list. Now, I never saw the list. I've got to FOIA in to find out who made that list. The firms on that list, he says, were interviewed. He doesn't tell who interviewed them. He tells who was on the committee, but he doesn't tell who interviewed them or what the interview criteria consisted of. So we have no idea. We have no idea who the others were, but we will as soon as my FOIA gets answered and I report it to you. He also, John Barath, also does not state how many firms were interviewed out of those 14. He doesn't state who they were. Barath said the interviews were conducted on March 4th. He then stated, and this is going to shock you, this is the surprise of surprises, they had decided to recommend SFLA to be the designer of the new schools. Now, I would like to ask the school board, is that how we conduct bids in this county? Is that how state law allows it? I haven't looked that up yet, but I will. I'm hoping that you will, though. Do we just put a committee together, let a guy who used to work in a high-ranking position for the old architect firm, and he gets to lead that committee and pick them? Is that the way we do it? Is that the way we allot millions and millions of dollars to be spent in this county? I told you, Steve, it's gotten a lot bigger than just that $1.5 million bond they should have settled for in the first place instead of trying to cover this up, because there's much, much more coming out. All right. Barath said they'd bring a contract to the board for recommendation, and then he asked them for questions. Laura Lang, you remember her? She's one of the ones we drove or tried to drive away from the school board. She's one of my heroes. She asked the following question. She asked if the selection of SFLA was partly due to the fact that they had schools we could use already designed. Barath told her yes. They would be using already designed facilities. Not true, Barath. Laura Lang then made him clarify. She asked about the facilities we already have designs for. She asked if we already own that design or if it was the property of the architect. Barath informed her that the existing designs are the property of the architect. We don't own them. If we want them, we have to pay a lot of money for them. So it did no good to select SFLA if they come with nothing that they can bring us. Now, Bruce Cunningham, who was the chairman at that time, explained that they were weighing both the firm and the prototype that the firm already has. He said, so we were selecting based on 2 criteria. He said, actually 2 big criteria. He said they were trying to economize by hiring both the architect and their already designed prototype. And that's, again, pretty close to a direct quote. And to be honest, I don't even know what that meant in terms of saving money, since we own none of that. Chairman Cunningham then complimented the selection board on the great job they had done in their difficult task and that they had selected SFLA. After Barath was finished that day, Grimacy told the board he intended to recommend SFLA as the firm to be hired. And I haven't been able to find the meeting where he did that. I don't know where they voted on it, and I don't know what the law says about, or the statute says about how they're supposed to do that. But I'm going to put this in very, very plain language. Let you decide where the chips may fall. Now, Pathetic Pilot, I hope you're taking good notes, because this is where you start screwing things up normally. You start screwing things up about the time we start presenting hard, cold facts. So I can only talk so slow. Do your best. Here's what we have. We have an architect firm that's under law enforcement investigation in South Carolina for possibly conspiring in some way with the operations manager there to influence him to use their firm. That is a fact. We can't change that. That's easily verifiable through Google, and you can look that up very easily. We also have a Moore County Schools operation manager, John Barath, who used to be a high-ranking member of that same firm, the one that's under investigation. That is a fact. It's listed on the Moore County webpage. We can't change that. That is a fact. The operations manager, John Barath, has been influential in the hiring of that same architectural firm since he's been with Moore County Schools. That is a fact. We can't change that, Pilot. Pathetic Pilot. Now, does it occur to anyone that under these circumstances, the ones listed above, at the very least, we should have a cutout between this firm that's under law enforcement investigation, the high-ranking man the high-ranking company man that used to work for them and is now our operations manager? Can someone out there that's in business, especially those of you who are involved in government contracting, explain how this makes any sense? And again, no accusation of wrongdoing or any kind of law enforcement or laws broken. Can anybody tell me how we saved a dime by hiring a firm that had some plans that we don't even own, and they're going to sell them back to us? Good question. Good question, Laura Lang. Now, this is not an accusation of criminal activity yet by anyone in Moore County. I do think you'd have to be pretty trusting to not wonder if at the very least there should be some concern on the part of the school board. Now, this one item I presented today, it's not enough to make me question this whole stinking mess. But when you combine it with all the other information, yes, it reeks. It's just one sprinkle on top of this whole pile of rancid garbage. That brings me to one of my new favorite subjects. The amazingly, in my opinion, the amazingly inept, pathetic Pilot newspaper. I finally get to talk about their editorial. I've got a limited amount of time here, and the Pathetic Pilot is so pathetic, they twisted the facts so badly, I'm not going to be able to get to all of it. They had the gall, and it took a lot of gall to write the following. Let me see if I can read it without throwing up. They wrote, quote, "After a story detailing the controversy ran in the Pilot, Zumwalt went on WEEB AM 990 and, along with the station owner Steve Adams, tried to cast more shade on what they admittedly called a convoluted story. After the story that you ran, gentlemen, we uncovered this, not you. Your inept coverage was nothing more than a statement from Helen Wallen Miller, which they instructed you to print in whole, and you did. So please don't try to take credit on the one hand for this story, and on the other hand, do your best to hush it up." And the Pathetic Pilot is trying to hush it up, or at least it would appear so, by the lack of coverage and by the twisting of facts. I wish I could express the amount of contempt I have for you for the way you've handled this. From the moment, though, I'm just going to call him, instead of Pathetic Pilot, I'm going to call you Pontius Pilate. Pontius Pilate. You can't wash your hands of this whole mess. Act like you're not part of the problem. It doesn't work that way. You are supposed to be serving this community. You are supposed to be telling us what is going on. You're supposed to be giving us the facts. Even if you don't agree with them, you have an obligation to give both sides of the story, the way the Sand Hills Sentinel does, or the other online newspapers we have in this town. In fact, give your self-righteous butts a couple more bogies. All right. The pathetic pilot then went on to say, and by the way, I meant what I said about Pontius Pilate. You can't wash your hands of this Pilate and get away with it. Doesn't work that way. The Pontius Pilate, I'll go back to the pathetic Pilate, went on to say in the editorial that they had some 8th grade kid write for him, this story, quote, has no merit and no point, except perhaps to either further their own interest in a 2020 school board candidacy or merely just belittle and smear the process and its people. Now, where did that come from? Where did that come from? I'm here to tell you neither Steve nor I will be a candidate for the school board. There is no intent on our part at all to run for school board. Do you guys just sit around and make this stuff up, or are you really that ignorant? Pitiful Pilate then says the following thing, quote, you have to believe in order, by the way, let me stop. They're accusing us of some kind of a conspiracy theory and trying to make us look silly. They said, quote, you have to believe that Superintendent Bob Grimacy, School Operations Director, and Certified Architect John Barath, the contractors' attorneys, the school board's attorneys, and finally the entire school board are all lying. No, you don't. When? Tell me when did I ever say the school board lied? And although I do not believe John Barath he has some explaining to do, how does being a certified architect make him immune from factual presentations that are actually questionable? You said, and certified architect John Barath, what does that have to do with being, are you so taken with titles, Pontius Pilate, that you can't even think of that a person who's actually a certified architect might be doing something that's maybe he shouldn't? I've been extremely complimentary of the law firms and the others involved, because I still believe these attorneys are going to tell the schools they better come up with something pretty quick because they're looking bad. And pathetic Pilate, are you that much of a preppy elitist that you're in awe of these people? You truly are elementary school pitiful. The Pilate, I hate it when I do that. The pathetic Pilate called my call for the schools to go after the $1.5 million much ado about nothing. Much ado about nothing, guys. We have a school system in which teachers are buying their own supplies. Barath and Grimacy will be in the pathetic Pilate soon begging for millions more. Watch for it. Watch it. It's coming. How is the quest to get back $1.5 million much ado about nothing? What world do you guys live in? You sit up there in your little elitist office preaching to us, the folks who are listening, preaching to me, folks who work hard all their lives for a living, want our kids to have the best, and you have the gall to tell us that $1.5 million is much ado about nothing? Especially when even you, yes, you in your little pathetic editorial said that we might win. Even if we settle for half that, we need that money. But you said, yeah, there's a chance we could win. Well, then let's go after it. What world do you live in? I'm counting on the folks that listening to this to be agreeing. Yes, we need that money. Property taxes are rising. Property tax evaluations are rising. All we're asking for is for our schools to spend their money wisely. Not to quit spending, just spend it wisely. Quit paying millions to an architecture firm unless they deserve it. And we're going to talk more next week about how they spend, in fact, Wednesday, about how they spend that money and how there might be a case to be made for, no, we're wasting a lot of money here. I'll tell you how much we've paid that firm already on Wednesday, and I'll tell you what we've gotten for what we paid. And I'll also tell you this: the more that building that they design costs, the more they make. The more the building that they design costs us to build, the more they make. Now, how does that make any sense to you from a business point of view? Like I said from the very start, just listen to the evidence. Just listen to the evidence and decide for yourself. And I'm hoping that one or more of the good people on that school board will realize this is not a call for their head. This is just an investigation, but we need a real investigation from them. Just think about the facts. I'll say one more time, Steve and I have no motivation for this except to present the facts. Everybody loves children. Shut up. We all love kids. Quit accusing of this, that we don't like them. We all want the best education that can be provided, and that means not giving one penny of your money to a company or a firm unless we have to, unless it helps those kids. And you're darn right. They owe us $1.5 million, and I want it. Now keep this in mind when all this is over. WEEB is fighting. It's fighting for you. The pathetic pilot is fighting for the big firms, and this is not going to end well for them. A couple of last words here. The word busing that we used on there offended the pathetic pilot. They said it was meant to rile folks up. Well, you're the ones doing the busing, not us. We're the ones that reported the busing. What do you want us to call it? And if you hate that word busing, where do you hear this one? Lynching. Lynching. That's exactly what you did to the last school board, and you were part of it. And I'm ashamed to admit it, and I have on here many times, but I was part of it too. But you remain proud of it. You lynched that former school board by not printing the full factual story. I'm not one to call for a boycott. I never would, never will. But I'll never believe another thing I ever read in the pathetic pilot. Well, maybe you do get it right when you report on all those awards you win every couple of weeks. But from now on, though, I'm rooting against you. I'm going to start rooting for the Flea Market Gazette to win the award against you. And, Steve, until Wednesday, I'll have some more to say. But that's just about it for today. And I truly do hope that folks will pay attention and just look at the facts.
I want them to produce this crystal ball that they have, that they can see into my mind and know what I'm thinking, which they implied in what you're thinking, which they totally said they could do in their article.
Yeah, nowhere have we ever.
Takes a lot of gall.
I've told so many folks that I would not be a candidate for school board ever, or at least not this next time. And one can never say never, but I have no intention, and you don't either. We've talked, and where they got that, I don't know. It's like they sit around and just throw things in.
Maybe they want us to run.
Well, pathetic pilot, if you'll come out with an editorial endorsing Steve and I, and we can get those 3 votes you control, maybe we'll consider it.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, their efforts well below any journalistic standard that I'm aware of. I mean, just beneath contempt what they're pulling here.
Well, I knew they would probably have an editorial that would come out.
Well, it just echoed the Helen's letter. Is all it did.
Yeah, well, but speaking of the editorial that came out the next week, I was expecting it, and when I read it, I was elated because it was like, you guys you've proven our point. You've got nothing correct in this thing. You sound like a bunch of little kids trying to argue with grown men. You get on board with the facts.
Yeah, they're trying to take what Grimacy tells them and Barath tells them and declaring themselves highly educated on the subject when they haven't delved into it to even know what's going on. All right. Well, thanks, John. We look forward to round 3 on Wednesday, I guess. Right?
Yep. Wednesday. Yep.
All right. Well, we'll see you back on Wednesday. So for the rest of you, we'll see you back tomorrow. So it goes for a Monday. Have yourself a great, safe day. We'll see you back bright and early tomorrow, 7 to 9 for a titillating Tuesday. Until then, be sure to support all the mom and pop businesses you hear on our airways, because when you give them first crack at your spending dollars, your money stays here, rolls over, and that creates jobs for all of us. And don't forget, millions of Americans, they have fought, they have died to give and protect the freedoms that you get to enjoy today. Live today worthy of their and their family's sacrifice. I'm Steve Leader Adams, and the Leader Man, and Nick and Colt the Dog will all see you at 2 o'clock this afternoon at the Sunday Dog Park.